news overseas, China's manufacturing activity shrank for a second straight month in November and at a faster rate, a survey showed. The official factory survey's result, experts believe, suggests that this indicates government intervention is needed to support economic growth. Likewise, China's official purchasing managers index, or PMI, went down to 49.4 in November from 49.5 in October. Having a gun tucked underneath one's shirt or stuck and hidden at the back of one's pants emboldens anyone towards self-defense or even going on the offensive. Unsurprisingly, the October 7th surprise attack by Hamas that left at least 1,400 Israelis dead has triggered an avalanche of applications for gun licenses in the Holy Land, which could have dire and dangerous repercussions. As VOA's Linda Gradstein reports.
Layla Gradsky said she had thought of getting a gun for a while, but what pushed her to finally get one was the events of October 7th, the day Hamas gunmen rampaged through more than 20 Israeli communities and slaughtered 1,200 men, women, and children.
The stories coming out of down south were unbelievable, and the kind of silver lining to it was that the communities did have guns in the homes that were equipped, were able to protect themselves, and it could have been a lot worse if they not been able to.
She came to Caliber 3, a counter-terror and defense training school, to buy a gun and learn how to use it. She bought a Mossberg MC2C for about $1,300 and paid another $150 for the training course. Her first efforts at shooting were not successful, but she quickly improved. Yaakov Tweti moved to Israel from France and lives in a Jerusalem neighborhood on the border of West Bank Palestinian towns. He says he applied for a gun license just 1 week after the October 7th Hamas attack because he wants to protect his wife and 2 young children at home.
When we saw what happened on October 7th, we decided that next time we need to be stronger and more prepared for any scenario. I always thought about getting a gun.
Gun sales and training at Caliber 3 are up 2,000% since the Hamas attack, says company founder Sharon Gatt. He says the procedure for granting civilian gun licenses is strict.
They apply for the license, then the Ministry of Interior Affairs here in Israel does a background check on them to check they're not criminals, they're not terrorists, they're not psychopaths, mentally and physically they're fit to carry a weapon. And if that's okay, then they do an interview with these people. They send them to Caliber 3 so we can check them, train them.
Israel's hardline National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir recently eased the conditions for Israeli civilians to get guns and announced the formation of additional civilian rapid response security teams. Some 250,000 Israelis have applied for licenses, and only 4 have been refused, according to the Haaretz newspaper. Women's groups worry that the proliferation of guns could lead to their abuse in cases of domestic violence. Ben-Gvir's campaign to arm civilian security teams is separate from his efforts to increase the arming of Jewish settlers in the West Bank. Since October 7th, Jewish settlers have killed at least 9 Palestinians, according to the UN and human rights groups. But even Israelis who don't live in the West Bank settlements or next to the Gaza border say they're concerned about their personal safety.
I wouldn't say it made me feel powerful, more of it gives me a sense of added protection. Like, I know our army and security forces are amazing, but they can't be there in a split second. And so definitely being able to have that measure of control is important.
The events of October 7th have traumatized many Israelis, even if they were not personally affected. And they say they will do whatever they can to make sure it doesn't happen again. Linda Gradstein, VOA News, Jerusalem.